Hello and welcome to our final broadcast for Mike Prisuta. Tim Benz here, your play-by-play tandem for the RMU hockey team, along with Derek Schooley. It's our last coaches show of the year for Colonial hockey fans to wrap up the 2024-25 season, the second year back on the ice for the Colonials. Derek, we haven't caught up with you since the season ended and your team played out in Air Force for the playoff game. Let's talk about that sort of three-game series as it was, because we also haven't talked to you since the regular season concluded against the Falcons. Let's talk about that as a three-pack and then concluding things out in Colorado Springs against the Falcons to wrap up in the postseason.
Yeah, I don't know how much closer of a series it could have been. The first game was went down to the wire with an empty net, and we had a goal disallowed late, followed by a great senior night where we lost in a shootout, but obviously played very even, played much better the second night, and which, you lose in a shootout, but that's a bounce here, bounce there. But I thought we were really good that night, and then we got the news that nobody seems to want is the travel to Air Force, and we found out on Monday because there was a makeup game. Had to turn around everything pretty quickly. We were on 3 different flights because of how quick it was to get all of our team out there. One of them got delayed from about 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. in Atlanta on Friday. So that was the majority of our players. So we spent the day in Colorado Springs with 8 hockey players and 3 staff members. Everybody else was stranded in Atlanta. No practice on Friday. But when you play the same team 3 times in a row, you know what you're doing and all that, and had a really good pregame skate and really good hockey game back and forth. And we took a lead, they tied it. We took a lead, they tied it. They took a lead, we tied it, and double overtime. And they got a power play and threw one in the net, got a rebound. But really proud of how we played out there. We had 2 defensemen that were sick, and why would it be easy for us? Because we've been hurt all year, but we had 2 defensemen that were sick, and going to double overtime, and we just didn't get the bounce. Last year we did. This year we did not.
Derek, you mentioned how close those games all were, and after struggling throughout a lot of January and into February, you guys seemed to kick back in down the stretch in the regular season. Now that you've had a little time since it ended, do you take some heart in the team getting better at the end, the team staying with it, and the team coming close, if not achieving the desired result?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a great weekend against Niagara, winning overtime, and we went through a tough spell. We finished a game without a goalie. I mean, we were beat up injury-wise, and we had
bold strategy, Cotton. How to play out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was 0-0. And I think we did a lot of good things down the stretch. We just didn't get rewarded with wins. And obviously playing without some of the guys, everybody seemed to be hurt at some point or other. We played without Craig and Klimke and Garvey, and Dom Elliott was sick. And we had Mitch Dielstra being taped together. Luke Van Wy was hurt. He just had off-season surgery. I mean, it just go down the list of people that we didn't have healthy. We didn't play with Jackson Reineke all year. So we lost a lot of games. I've never seen anything like it here. And, it's one of those things that you just have to continue to push on. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And we didn't, the locker room didn't quit. Our guys didn't quit. We always believed. We believed that we were going to beat Air Force, and we just came up. We had a scramble in front of the net in overtime. We couldn't find that way to put it in. Tanner Klimke got one on the wall that he put high, but we didn't stop. We didn't stop playing, and I'm really proud of our guys for that.
I want to talk broad strokes again in a second here, Derek. Just cleaning up one thing while I'm thinking of it. You referenced it. So Jackson Reineke, does he count then as a red shirt this year? So that year doesn't really count for him? Does he have the extra year of eligibility now? And is he going to come back for you next year? Because I know he gave you something as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, the plan is, you don't really have to determine red shirts until the extra year. But I mean, anybody he could apply for a red shirt We got Tom Gangle kind of in the same scenario as a red shirt, but as of now, we intend to have Jackson back next year, and he's made some strides. He goes back and forth with his recovery, and there was a point where we thought we might get him back during the year, but he just had his back had been back and forth with his back.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a big loss for us because we thought he would be for sure a top 9 forward, potentially a top 6.
So then, Derek, broad strokes, like I said before, where do you think you made the most strides in your second year back, and where do you feel like you have the furthest to go?
Well, I thought we gave up a lot less shots this year. I thought last year we were giving up multiple games of 50 and things, 50 plus shots. This year we were down around the 30s. We were highs and lows as far as scoring goals. We got to have more consistency as that. We've got to develop a little deeper up front without Jackson, like I said, and some other players being hurt. We were missing probably a third scoring line. We had a checking line and probably two top lines, but we needed some third line scoring. And after that, I mean, we just have to have consistent saves too, as well. I think we got better in certain areas and we regressed in certain areas, and now we need to make sure that we're better in all areas.
Derek, in the old days, Tim and I would talk to you in a setting such as this and talk about, well, this guy's coming back, this guy's coming back. You can expect this much from this guy, and this guy's going to improve. Do you have any idea what you'll have next year in this new world order of college athletics? And if you don't, when do you think you might?
Yeah, we're still playing that out. I mean, nothing is determined as you follow the history of the new settlements and all that. I think they're getting close to a decision. April 7th is the judge is supposed to sign off on the new House settlement and roster reductions and all that stuff. So we're still kind of in a holding pattern. And then obviously you got the transfer portal. You have major, junior. We need to be better. And this is the first year since 2011 that we have not played in the second round. And think of that. I mean, that's a long time. And that just shows you the sustained success of this program. And while we're rebuilding from the shutdown of 2 years ago, we still got ways to go. And I think we know that this wasn't. We knew that we took some strides in our hockey playing ability, but we didn't take strides in our win-loss record. And that's ultimately how you're judged, unlike in Caddyshack where you're judged by height.
Thank God that's not the case. As far as goaltending goes, Derek, is it sort of, are you expecting it? I know this is a little bit of a pontificating question here, with what you just outlined, given the transfer portal and the nature of it. But when it comes to player movement, do you think it'll be willy-nilly across the board, or is it going to be primarily goalies that hop around, do you think?
I don't know the answer to that. I think because I think there's so many questions still out there. You know, when teams have to drop roster spots, obviously it's got to come from somewhere. And when major junior comes into play, and there's so many more players and good hockey players in the talent pool, I think there's just a lot of different factors right now that teams are still trying to figure out. And you're trying to figure it out on the fly. What you think is one day is sometimes not the next. So while we believe our core is strong and intact, you never know until the start of the year, you know, or till the end of the transfer portal season where you're going to be and where things are going to go. So it's fluid. You're always discussing roster at this time of year, and we'll have to see where all that takes us.
Did you see enough when you were healthy and when you were playing well to be satisfied that your process still applies, the way you want to play hockey still applies, or are those things that you annually take a look at in the off season? What's the procedure there in terms of figuring out how you want to go about this and how you are going about this?
Yeah, I think you have to always continue to evaluate because it's not the same world that you're living in year by year. And you had to learn how you were dealing with the transfer portal. Now you have to learn how you're dealing with major junior. So you have to constantly, if you're status quo, you're falling behind because the times are changing, and you've got to learn how to adjust in that scenario. With that, as far as how you play, you always look at things you've done well and things that you need to do better. I thought there were a lot of things that we improved on this year, but I also think there's a lot of things that like I said earlier, we regressed on. We didn't stay status quo in many areas. We either improved or we took a step back, and we just need to continue to do that. Like I said, I thought our captains did a great job of leading this group. Our players never quit. We never lost them. They never lost us. We always believed that we were going to win hockey games right down till they told us we weren't going to win hockey games. But I think that there's always constant evaluation of how things are going because of the world we're living in. The world is different. I think you're seeing it in all NCAA sports. When you're talking about salary caps potentially of $21 million being paid out to athletic departments, and the big time kids are getting millions of dollars in football and basketball, and hockey's obviously farther down the list, but it's creeping in there. And we're not going to be a player to that extent, but you've got to also always constantly evaluate how you're doing things. And like I said, if you're not adapting to the new world, you're falling behind.
Derek, the right side of your defense was pretty steady throughout the year. Is that kind of a foundation you think you can build off of next season?
Yeah, I mean, Michael Craig, obviously, I thought Michael should have been an all-league player. Very disappointed that he didn't get the votes from the rest of the coaches because he had an outstanding year. Dominic Elliott was rewarded as all-rookie team player, was one short of the freshman D scoring record at Robert Morris. He had 19 points. 20 was the previous record held by Denny Urban, I believe. And then Luke Van Wy he competes. He's solid. So yeah, they were a strong part of our core, and they're all the same. They're the same but different. They're all undersized, right-handed puck moving, but they got a little different element to all of them. And I was really pleased. That definitely was a big step that those guys took. And Luke was hurt at the end of the year, and he battled through the playoff game, and he played close to 30 minutes with one leg, and Dom Elliott was sick, and he played close to 38 minutes. Michael Craig played 40 minutes in that game. And, we just need to get more consistency from our left side. I thought Greg Japshin was really good when he came back from concussion and ended really, really strong. Gabe Lund took a step this year. And, then we had J.R. Ashmead in there, and then Trevor LeDunn, and Thomas Haynes had all, while Ashmead played a lot of games, so did LeDunn, and Haynes was playing at the end. All had a lot of inconsistencies like that you would expect, especially from the younger guys.
Derek, how did you find the landscape in Atlantic hockey, and how do you anticipate things changing with AIC moving out of the D1 consideration?
Well, I think Atlantic hockey the parity is outstanding. It's always been that way. And I think there's a shift right now in the cycles. There was a shift back when we went to 7th straight. It was always the Western teams. It was always us, RIT, Air Force, and then you'd sprinkle in a Mercyhurst, a Canisius, and Niagara. An Army once, AIC, they started to get going. Then it shifted back to the Western, and right now you ended with 4 Eastern teams, I should say. It's shifted to the Eastern side. You had 4 Eastern teams in the semis this year, and you have 2 Eastern teams in the championship. And I think a lot of it has to do with, you get some Sacred Heart and Bentley got new buildings, and Rochester RIT had got a new building previously, and the new coaches come in at certain times. And but we probably got the 2 most structured teams in the league playing. Like, this is going to be a dogfight. The 2 best goalies, Connor Hasley, who we beat previous year, has got 11 shutouts this year. And you got Thomas Gale, who's a first-team all-league. I think you've got 2 of the most structured teams in the league playing. And we'll see how that plays out in the Bentley Holy Cross final on Saturday.
We're going to come to a consensus for my vote for the Hobie Baker here, because am I not the shadow vote for you guys? And do I even need to ask Prisuta?
No, you can, Mike. You know exactly where.
Well, you mean between Howard or Augustine?
Yes.
Howard.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I figured. Right.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you. That's why Mike put you on the committee, to replace him.
How you feeling about the tournament coming up, Derek? And before we go, it's in your hometown, so why don't you give the postcard for St. Louis for hockey fans if they're going to go to the Frozen Four this year?
Well, there's a Cardinals game there that the same weekend, which is pretty cool, because I think the last couple of years there hasn't been baseball games in the same area, which I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to do that. And
there was in Minnesota.
Yeah, there was not in Tampa, and I do not believe there was one in Boston at the same time. But you've got 4 teams locked in as top seeds, and Boston College, Michigan State, Maine, and Minnesota. They still got the championship games this weekend. Boston College and Minnesota are out. You got Western Michigan, obviously my alma mater. I'd love to see them in their first Frozen Four as a 5 seed probably right now. And then you've got the Atlantic hockey team built in. I think there can be a lot of changes from the 3 to the 13 area. You've got 3 teams right now in the bubble. And if 3 non teams that are above the cut line win, and when I say above the cut line, I mean like in Arizona State and North Dakota, you've got Northeastern, Cornell,
go
Clark.
Northeastern, go Arizona State, go North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, you see that the first team, the non-traditional above the cut line to be eliminated, will be who, Mike? You know it. You'll love it.
It might be a school an hour from mine, but I'm holding out for the Daily Double. I'd like the other Division I team in Pennsylvania to watch the tournament from afar.
Yeah, spoken like a Michigan State Spartan in the Big Ten. So the first team that is above the cut line, and you got 3 leagues that it could happen in: the NCHC, Hockey East, and the ECAC. ECAC has 3 teams that would knock somebody out. Then you've got 2 in the NCHC and 1 in Hockey East. And the first team to go would be probably Michigan. The second team to go would be Penn State. And the third team to go would be Quinnipiac, if all 3 of those hit. So those teams in Ann Arbor and State College are rooting for chalk. They're rooting for the favorites to win. And
I'm rooting for Northeastern and Arizona State or North Dakota.
Or Clarkson, Cornell, and Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Those are your favorites for this weekend.
Go Sparky, go Northeastern.
Yeah.
I can't say let's go Sioux, can I? That's not allowed.
That's not allowed anymore. No,
Fighting Hawks. Even though they say it in the crowd when we were out there this year.
What's the best hockey bar in St. Louis, Derek?
OB Clark's is really good. That's a ways away. That's where the Blues took the Stanley Cup. That's not close to downtown, but I'm sure Mike will find every one of them that are in the area of the Enterprise Center. Actually,
I got to give you great props. We were out there in 2007, the last time that St. Louis hosted, and that ballpark district around the baseball stadium is fantastic. And I can only imagine it's grown since then, but there are plenty of places to get a beverage and have some fun there.
Well, I mean, that is where Anheuser-Busch is from. So you're looking at there's a couple places, Maggie O'Brien's, which is one of the big bars right near the Enterprise Center. And then you got there's a couple other, and like you said, down around Ballpark Village is something that they've really put together. And I'm excited to see the host. I think the Blues will do an outstanding job. They continue to go to every Frozen Four. Steve Chapman was really instrumental in this bid. So I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be a perfect size. You're going to have some good teams there. It won't get lost in the shuffle. I'm really afraid of it being lost in the shuffle in Vegas because of how big and how much stuff is going on in Vegas. So it'll be really interesting to see and compare the next 2 with how it took place in Minneapolis, Tampa, and Boston before that.
Well, Derek, thanks a lot for the time all year, and look forward to next year. I know it's going to feel like it's going to happen instantaneously, but enjoy the off season while you can.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys have been great, and obviously supporting Robert Morris and our program, and then obviously throwing Katie Goss in the mix this year on the broadcast. I think you guys were a tremendous threesome, and I would argue I'd put you guys up against all the best in college hockey. I know USA Hockey Magazine did a thing on broadcasters this week or this month, and I was disappointed to see you guys not in there because I think you guys are top notch. So thank you for everything you guys do.
Well, I appreciate it. And what do they know? And we'll let you know regarding that salary cap stuff. We'll send you our contract, and you can react accordingly.
I told you that we weren't going to play that game, so you guys can stick with your same deal. And the price of broadcasters aren't going up. On the price of eggs and gas are coming down, so you guys might have to come down.
Are you going to the watch party at all? Is there an RMU watch party for the basketball team?
There is this week. Obviously they're playing Alabama, but I'm going to be out of town. It's Parents' Weekend in Oklahoma where my son is playing. So I'm going to go down and watch some North American Hockey League, and that's where Dom Elliott played last year. My son's down there. I'm going to go down for Parents' Weekend and be a dad here for a little bit.
Mike and I have great confidence in the Colonials covering the 22-point spread on Friday. That's first and foremost. We're all about the Colonials on Friday.
Do you? It's the big question: is do you have the confidence in the win?
The money line.
Yes.
Not quite that much confidence, but you know how that tournament goes. I mean, I think I just tweeted yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Purdue losing as a 1 seed to a 16. It can happen.
I was there in Columbus when it happened. This is Derek. This is the thing: is that Cleveland?
Shock that would happen to Purdue, by the way. Shock.
There's two 2-15 games in Cleveland on the same day, and one of them is Michigan State playing as the 2. So Mike is definitely hoping that the upset comes early for Bobby Moe against Alabama.
Well, there's going to be a 15 seed that knocks off a 2 seed. It always happens. Are you going up, Mike? I guess that should be the better question.
I am not. We have a previous engagement that Tim is involved in, and it will involve a lot of the things that we just got done referencing, but not at sight.
Well, Derek, enjoy going out and seeing your son play. And like I said, we will catch up again as we get closer to next season. Enjoy the offseason. Best of luck on the recruiting trail and things of that nature. And we'll talk again as we get ready to see your guys skate next year.
Thanks again, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Colonial hockey fans.